Can't do boosted when I'm that close to the edge. I don't know what type of problem it is, mentality or mentally. I can't do it. I can't be that close to the ledge. I have to give myself space. I just can't do it.
I'll do my best.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to push myself just a little bit, and then I ended up regretting it. I can't do it. My brain won't let me. I think no skipping bosses or cell count walls are a pretty solid rule. What is the legitimacy of the category have anything to do with how fun it is? I understand that there's confusion with the skips and everything like that, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a fun category to run, in my opinion, and that it allows people who don't have debug to who don't have like Black Label or the right version of the game to have a competitive and fun category. To me, that's enough reason to support a category, in my opinion. All those reasons I just listed. Boosted's right by the edge is hard at AF. No time to verify you're going the right speeds before going off. Yeah, I can't do it. And hey, Mart, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping by. I've always had this problem with boosteds, and I always tell myself, okay, just start your boosted from further back. If I give myself just a little bit of space on the ground, I can do it. I'm very consistent at boosteds like that. But the moment I start trying to do it right off the edge, I just freak up. You know, I just can't. I just drop. I just don't even try a boosted. I don't even know what it is. It's so weird. And like every once in a while, I can do it. Every once in a while, but like consistently, I'm just not consistent at boosteds like that. Like when I'm that close to the edge, I need a little bit of space. So like you're seeing me try to create that space for like most of my boosteds everywhere, all the time, because it's just so much easier for me to do. Like time it and like visualize it and understand it.
Now, all of you, get out.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna. I mean, maybe one day I'll be able to conquer that, but I just can't seem to get it. So I'm not gonna put pressure on myself to do that properly. But I got a Forbidden Jungle Gold, so I'll take that. That was cool. I hope you're doing well, Mart. Appreciate you stopping by. I didn't like that. I had to turn that roll jump a little bit because my spacing was a little bit too close, but it's fine.
This is it.
Oh, dang, that would have actually been faster if I split properly.
The ocean took a bite out of me fishing rig. Another goblin up me catch. No matter what I try, I can't seem to catch a single fish in this river.
Yeah, the thing is, they want the category to still be fun, Whip.
You think you can do better?
Doing quite alright. Finally got a job after.
River fish with a tiny net. I'll give you a power set. If you can catch 200 pounds of them critters.
I said they want the category to be more fun, which is why we still skip cutscenes. We skip cutscenes and no major skips. That's why. It's really the real difference is fighting Claw, because people see skipping Claw as a major skip to the game. So you're still doing Boulder skip, but you're fighting Claw still, so it's not that big of a skip anymore. Hey Namdel, hopefully I said your name correctly. But yeah, I'm happy for you, Mart.
One of them boogers, and he'll poison the whole darn catch.
It's definitely really stressful being in that situation, so I'm glad that it's working out for you. And then at the end, the only reason we're watching cutscenes at the end in Citadel is because of how big of a skip Citadel skip is. Citadel skip, like the versions that have it and the versions that don't, the checkpoints are so weird that we have to have it that way. It's the only way to make it super consistent, so that everybody who runs that category, no matter what version you have, will get the same result. That's why it's like that. It's the only reason. So, like, I see it as a category trying to make every version the same. For the most part. The only thing you can call into question is claw and why we do that, but like I do understand that as being a big skip. Like doing lava walk or deload to skip past claw, I can see that being pretty major. You can obviously argue about cutscenes and other things, but if you were to not allow those to be skipped, they'll be boring. Everyone knows that, and no one would even be happy to run it. It's close to no LTS for a reason. But the changes I actually think are kind of cool. I'm choking on myself. The changes are actually kind of cool in my opinion. Like fighting Claw in the middle of a run, like that's pretty cool. Like all that stuff I think is pretty cool. And then like the Citadel and like no major skips, I actually think it's a fun Citadel. And awesome, Namdel. I'm glad that I was able to say it correctly. I might still butcher it sometimes, but I'm glad I was able to say it correctly. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, basically, Zoe, the checkpoints you get in Citadel on versions that have Citadel skip and don't have Citadel skips vary so heavily that's why we have to have it that way. Because like if we were to skip certain things at different places, you would end up spawning in different locations. So like the way we do it is what allows it to be as consistent. I don't know why I'm choking. As consistent as it is, if that makes sense. That's how we get every version to have the same result, which is the whole point of the trick, you know? Or whole point of the category, so that everyone is playing with the same experience, basically. No one's gonna be spawning in a different location. No one's gonna be having a different, you know, a different skip that they're doing. Like, everyone can do the same exact thing for that category. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that we have Claw in that category, because then people will be trying to do Lava Walk. And, like, once you add Lava Walk, that adds a completely different variation to the category, like it does for every other category that Lava Walk is in. So it's like, that category is pretty clean. It's like a really clean way to do no LTS, and I like it. I think it definitely has a place as a category, and anyone who says otherwise is not being like fair to the category. And understanding the value a category like that has.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, why this is pedal like about to buy a new pedal. Like, I'm literally slamming on it to make sure it splits, and it still doesn't sometimes. Okay, hold on, Zoe. I'm gonna try to read everything that you're saying on, like, Misty Bolt. Oh, no. That was kind of bad. Okay, it's only considered minor there because you had the power cell count to activate the boost stage machine. Normally, so you're basically only skipping the Kira cutscene, whereas in other runs, you're skipping the cell count. Kind of wish Zero Gravity had a no category of sorts, because the Wii is two were quite different. Oh, interesting. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, this game is definitely not on the Wii. This is a PlayStation exclusive. Okay, so if I don't mess up the spacing here, you can see that like, I start like really far away from the ledge. That's why I'm doing that, so I don't frick. I'm less likely to frick up the boosted. I still frick up this one because I get too much in my head, but like, oh frick, for the most part I'm usually pretty good. You saw how fast that was? It's because I was so far away from the ledge. It's so much easier if I just slow walk like far away. It doesn't matter that much. I just have to be far away. It's me from Jak from Daxter. Wait, oh, I freaking butchered that sentence so bad. What the heck? It's me, Jak from Jak and Daxter, the Precursor legacy on the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that this is like a PlayStation exclusive. I always had like a slight PlayStation bias, I won't lie. And like, I feel like I would love, like, I always got sad when like Kingdom Hearts like started going on like so many different consoles and systems, because like it makes it so hard to play all of them. Because like now you have to get like 50 million different Nintendo consoles to play the whole entire Kingdom Hearts series if you really want to play every single game. And like that's not really accessible for me. So like the remixes like were super helpful with that, but I kind of wish it just stayed on PlayStation, honestly. I wanted the roll jump there in case you're wondering. I'm trying not to hit that bomb. In case you're wondering, that's bad. You don't want to hit that bomb. Yeah, that's kind of my argument, Zoe, from the first thing that I read from that. That's why I argue that no major skips should stay a category. Other people will say, like, you know, just do no LTS and just take the loss, but, like, it's so nice just having a category.
This is it!
That you can say, like, hey, I am gonna, you know, I'm gonna have a way to compete with everybody who runs this category. No one's gonna have any upper hand, aside from the fact that you might have like a different PlayStation console that you're running, but for the most part, everyone who's touching no major skips should be able to compete with everybody, because there's nothing in that category that will stop you from being at the same level of everybody else. And that's what I really like about it, because like the thing I hate about no LTS now is that like a lot of people do lava walk, and then like you start like with the filters now it makes it so much easier, but on the leaderboards it's really hard to know like who has a decent time without that type of stuff. Like you want to know, like for me that was something that matters to me because I don't have an interest in lava walk. So something that I plan on, you know, doing is trying to get as far as I can without lava walk. But since lava walk is a part of that category, there's always going to be a few runners who are doing lava walk in that category, and then I won't be able to really know like where I stand skill wise if it was just a leaderboards without it. But like with that filter they added, it's way easier to know now. But for a while, like that wasn't easy to know. So for someone like me who doesn't plan on doing all that type of stuff, how am I supposed to know where I stand, like skill-wise? So like with no major skips, you won't ever have to have that concern. There's nothing in that category that's like that, and I really like that about it. I know I missed half the conversation, but that is a great thing to have. Equity is super important. Yeah, so like no major skips is like the neutralizer. It's like that category that everybody will be able to do and have fun with and compete with without any concerns. How does this keep happening? Oh, okay. I really should just get rid of this run, but I really don't want to right now. I just take the L. I want to get out of Hub 1, kinda. Just have fun with the rest of the run. A little bit.
Okay.
Wow, they actually get completely behind. Funny. Hold up, I'll catch up with chat real quick. This category is actually hard to do that. Second. Skyrim is an interesting speed game because it's separated between console and PC. It's like people can run any category and only face off against people on their own console. Yeah, that's nice. Like things like that make it really nice because then there's no feeling like you were left out or left behind. And honestly, when I first started running Jak as a new person to speedrunning in general, I felt like I had to get a black label so that I wouldn't be like running something completely different from everybody else. So like with no major skips, if you don't want to get a black label or you want to start running right away, now you have a category you can do. A very accessible and enjoyable category.
The fire cannon gets pretty hot.
And I don't see a problem with having something like that.
Keep you off the hot ground. I've also released several blue cooling balloons you can use to drop the shield's temperature quickly. Oh, and when you get across, don't forget to activate the teleport gate in the Blue Sage's lab.
I don't know what IGT is.
Over and meet you. Good luck.
Oh, in game time. Okay. Wait, people speedrun VR stuff? I didn't even think about that. I wonder what speedruns like that are like. Dang, that's crazy. Just imagine that. I don't think I could do it. Getting my hands so heavily involved in speedrunning is enough for my body. I'm good. Yeah, honestly, I feel like PC speedrunning is so complicated because of like how different everyone's hardware can be. But I feel like stuff like that can get so complicated. And it really just comes down to like each individual speedrun community. Like how easy do they want people's lives to be? Like, do they want it to be really complicated? Like, what are they gonna allow and not allow?
This is it.
I feel like that really varies depending on the community. Because like things like hard drives versus SSDs and, you know, frame rates, like it can get really complicated with PC speedrunning. One of the reasons why I don't think I'd ever want to run anything on a PC is like I just don't want to. I feel like it would be so complicated having to deal with all those differences and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe not. But I just feel like that type of stuff is so complicated to figure out. Like, I remember I was watching, like, the whole SpongeBob Rehydrated thing and, like, what that community went through. And I felt like a lot of that was, like, so painful to watch. Because it's just so complicated. And you understand why, like, it's happening. But it's, like, it would just suck to be a runner and have, like, things like that be so confusing to deal with and figure out. Yeah, I think I would probably get motion sickness from VR speedrunning, honestly. I don't know, though. Like, if I haven't been in the car for a while and I get in a car again, I always get, like, feel like I'm slightly sick and just want to get out of the car right away. But, like, I feel like with VR, like, maybe I can get used to it if I do it enough, but I feel like it would just be, like, really distracting, daunting on me.
Okay.
You hear that? I tried to split twice. Did not work the first time. Okay, hold on. What happened with Rehydrated? Okay, so what I remember with Rehydrated is like they're having like issues, I think, figuring out like how much I think it was something with frame rate or something, I think they found out. Oh, wow, I got village. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, frick. Oh, frick, I was not paying attention to that at all. My bad, y'all. Every time I don't pay attention, that's when I get village. Should I keep this? I don't know, maybe? What was it that, like, I think they were noticing something with frame rate where, with a certain frame rate, you can, what is it? Like, it would change the way certain things in the speedrun worked or something like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe game physics tied into frame rate. So some people were getting an unfair advantage at the game. So, like, I think they deleted, like, the entire leaderboards for the game and made it so that the frame rate was locked or something like that. It was something, like, where people were getting, like, more of an advantage with their frame rates than other people, and obviously you can't have that in speedrunning because like there needs to be some form of consistency. So I think they deleted like the entire leaderboards so that they could fix that mistake. And that's why I was saying like PC speedrunning just seems so complicated because there's so many things that could interfere with how the game runs and works to cause it to like not be fair in some ways. And as a result, you can end up getting fricked over. This run might be dead due to that mistake, so my bad, y'all, but I really wasn't paying attention. I don't really get village, so like that's a sign that I wasn't paying attention at all. There was some talk about frame rates from what I remember, like 30 FPS was more accessible for people, but higher FCS could do better tricks. Yeah, something like that. So like I remember it being like a... Huh? Did I say FCS? Oh, did I? Oh, my bad. I meant FPS. Look, I got FCS on the brain because I was practicing that. I was practicing that earlier. Frick off. I meant FPS, but yeah. Oh, God. But yeah, like, you just never know when something that's going to happen. But, like, one thing I noticed with a lot of PC speedrunning communities, like, they will lock the FPS a lot of the time. So, like, there'll be different tiers or categories based off of the frames that you can get and capping it. Wow, really? Bad. If that makes sense. So, like, that's something that... Now that makes sense to me, knowing that that can happen. So that's why different games will function like that. I think I fricked up a lot in like LPC if I recall correctly, so this might not be the end of the world. Yeah, I think that's how most of it is, Namdel. I think most of the time they cap that type of stuff. Yo, thanks a lot, Morty. I appreciate it. I was big bad and freaking got village, not paying attention, so this run's kind of bad, but like I actually messed up. I think I messed up a lot in the run before this. Like I PB'd. I don't know how I PB'd, honestly. It was like a race with like Vortex and like Dead, and like the run was so bad in the beginning, but somehow somehow it still PB'd. So like this run is gonna be really... I did that because I messed up. This run is gonna be really interesting to run against because there's gonna be a lot of time save in random places that I don't remember. Wait, so it's not? What am I doing? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Freaking bingo brain. What the frig? Oh my gosh. I was thinking of like going down to the fight Claw. We ain't looking too hot over here. Oh, frick. I can't believe I literally just did that. That was so yike. I don't even know if this run is salvageable at this point. I literally did that. Yike. Wait, so you're saying, Zoe, that they have PS2 and all the different consoles on the same leaderboards? I think I've seen that before for another game that I saw on PC. I can't remember which game it was. But I remember seeing that with another game. Yeah. Well, to me, it shouldn't matter unless there's big differences, if that makes sense, you know? So, like, for some games, like for Harry Potter, like on consoles, like the Harry Potter console versions, some of those games are like, I think like the PlayStation 2 version has parts of the game that are completely different. Like, the other consoles don't even have those parts, those sections. So like, in that situation, it's not fair for them to have the same leaderboards at all. I think they did. I can't remember. I think they had literally the same leaderboard, but like the PlayStation 2 ones aren't even fair. I might be wrong though. They might not have the same ones. I might just be remembering it wrong. But like in that situation, they should definitely not have the same. But if there's like minor differences, then maybe like a few seconds maybe. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's better just having everything separate. Just so like it's not confusing. Because like there's always going to be differences, you know? But yeah, I'm glad you're being vocal about the issues you feel there are, Zoe. That's what matters the most at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, TJ? How you doing? Thanks for the good luck. Oh, my bad, Zoe. I must have missed you say that. Oh yeah, if that's the case, then you definitely should not keep that the same. That's crazy. I don't know how they're gonna have those on the same boards. That's not even... That's definitely not fair. Yo, and hey, Heavy, how you doing? Thank you so much for the good luck. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know how that would even be up for discussion, honestly, Zoe. If like people aren't even able to do certain skips, yeah, that's a big enough reason to warrant a separation on its own right there. But yeah, hopefully y'all doing well. Appreciate y'all stopping by. This run's kind of, but I'm just gonna keep it just to get some practice in. First run of the day that's gotten this far, so might as well. And then eventually I'm gonna be slipping into some Jak 2. I'm honestly not expecting PBs today because I'm just not like fully energetic, which is really important for PBs for me. But I do want to get some look for some consistency here. Biggest thing I'm looking for. What was your dream, TJ?
Okay.
Sorry if I'm like bad at reading chat. It's really hard to read chat for this category. Like, man, I wish I could do it better. I think I do it okay though. Yo, what's up, Tap? How you doing? Runs are going alright. This is the first run that's gotten this far. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, that is a pretty huge gap, so. Yeah, this category is just non-stop going. Not a lot of time to sit there and think about what's being said in chat, but I try my best. My goal is to continue being pretty interactive streamer, but also get better at video games. But interaction is like priority to me, honestly. I guess very glad to be the second fastest PS2 player, but I have to shave off 10 seconds to be fastest. Dang, nice though. Sounds dope. Ow. Okay, that's fine. This is decent RNG, I think. Oh, no. Wrong area for that. There we go. Get that ledge grab, baby.
Precisely.
Was that really one of my best spider caves? Okay. Sick. Can you? Interesting. I did not know that, Morty. I always wondered that because I would like to get it ledge grabless if possible. But I didn't know it was possible. Oh, okay. Sick. The weird super long jump? Okay, now I'm curious what you mean by that, because I'm thinking you mean a boosted, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's fun to mess around with this game. For a while I was watching like a lot of streamers, all I did was just watch people play this game, like, and mess with tricks in the background. Like, this game is... There's a lot to this game, trust me. Oh, that was so bad. That right there was so yikes. Yeah, that's a boosted, yep. I didn't do that the way I usually do it, and that's Oh, come on. That was not the direction I was facing. God dang, this snow is like, yay. I'm gonna just go for gondola skip with this run because it's already kind of bad. So if I fail it, oh well. That was not how you do that. That was so weird. That looked like it wasn't gonna work. Because I jumped, like, I spun way too early there. That was, like, very likely to not work. Must have spun just within the window there. This cat is a lot of fun, Morty. It's tons of fun. By the way, this might be yike. Not gonna lie. I didn't practice LTS. I was practicing like FCS today, and I usually like warm up my LTS before runs, but I did not do that today, so this is my first LTS of the day, and that's not good. But if I can get through it, that would be good.
Okay.
Just for practice sake. I love that the chat is full of explanations of many different things. Love it. I think he was moving it before that, and I was just late. That's my bad. Getting to the video game. Honestly, I was just going for some of the risky movement because I don't really care at this point. That's way too...
This is it.
Of course, dude. I did some faster movement though, but man, I didn't like that. Could have been way faster. I was too low on the first one. It's all just practice, Morty. I know what I'm looking for, but I'm so picky with it that I take longer than I should. Like, I'm extremely picky with how I do my Scout 5 booster. I'm looking for, like, very specific things. And if I don't like what I see, then I hesitate, or if I rush it, I mess it up. So, like, the first one I was rushing, which is why it wouldn't have worked if I went for it. Then I took a little bit more time to set it up the way I wanted, and it worked, but then it took me way longer to do it. My goal for my LTS is now going to be to speed it up. I can go way faster if I put in the work. Might as well just finish this run out. And I'm so sorry, Zoe, if I'm not keeping up anything you're saying, but I hope that y'all are having a great discussion regardless. The setup in my first no FCS was literally minutes long. Oh yeah, your first FCS, it's always like that. By the way, congrats on getting FCS, by the way. Like, but the first one is always like that. Don't be too hard on yourself. I sat on that box like crazy, like taking forever. And I already knew I was consistent at LTS, and I was still panicking because I knew it was a run. Just how it is. Like, I'm already super confident with LTS, but like I panic because I'm like, it has to, like I just overthink every single part of it. You know? So, that happens. With the first run, it's the worst, but it gets better and better as time goes on.
Precisely! Hello!
Okay, so the fact that I keep goading things tells me that I should be looking at, a lower 45 soon. Like, on my best possible time. I feel like I haven't done the Citadel in like a really long time, so if I mess this up and y'all are like, what's wrong with you? That's why. TJ, you good? I mean, just checking up on you, just making sure, you know? Oh, frick, this is not yike. I said that. I was gonna say that was yike. It is not yike. Okay. Alright, brain, you make sense. And we got Poopy Psycho. Ew. Get this out of here. If this doesn't work, because I took the risk. No, it worked. I don't know how, but it worked. I might frick up this part though. It's been like, I haven't practiced this in so long. Yikes! I should have kept practicing my Citadel. Dang, dude, I shouldn't have like not practiced it. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Use this as a warm up. It'll be alright. Yep, we gotta use that bulge.
This is it.
Wow, that actually worked. Thick bulge. I love how y'all like you're already on top of it. This one, that strat doesn't use a thick bulge. I use the thick bulge to help align myself for that strat. Basically. Apparently there's a way to miss this, Gotta wait for the sky to turn, then we die. I mean, hey, you do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, TJ. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. You gotta do you at the end of the day. No one can tell you what to do. Oh, come on. That was so bad. Oh, God. That was like the worst cycle ever, bro. They were spawning like in the really bad places. Yikes. That might have lost just enough time for this not to be PBable, but that's okay though, because I actually don't want it to. I don't know if I want to run against this. I really like the other run. I don't have to say or submit, but like, I don't know. I can't not do that. It's a rule I have where I submit every PB I get, so if it PBs, I have to submit it. How it is in my head. And I get good shot. The thing is, I freaking messed up going into LPC. Like, come on. Yeah, like, this is just so bad. It's okay. A PB's a PB. If it does still PB. I actually don't know if it's gonna still PB because I fricked up big time.
It does exist.
They must not be allowed to get it.
White ego. That could be the stuff that changed me back. Or
You have that memorized, TJ? After I've been running this game for almost 2 years and I still don't have debug memorized. I'm very good. Oh yeah, the thing is, other people don't have to try. It just happens. For me, I have to actually try to memorize something for it to stick. But 80% has been fun to learn, honestly. It's hard and it's a grind for sure, but I've been enjoying myself.
My skills have been honed.
All right, a low 47 now. We should be able to easily get a sub 47, like a 46 at least at this point. There's no reason why. Like, I wasted so much time in this run and I still PB'd. Yeah, Harmon, I have really bad memory, and the way my memory works is I have to actually put like a lot of effort to memorize anything ever. Yo, what's up, Luminar? How you doing? And thanks for the GGs. Why am I doing that? Thanks for the GGs. Doe. TJ, Proc, Harmon, Heavy, appreciate it. Anyone who's hanging out, appreciate y'all. And hey to Proc as well, appreciate it.
But
Appreciate you stopping by.
now we can't change you back.
But like, I keep PBing in this category, making so many mistakes. It doesn't make any sense to me. That just tells me that I should be able to easily get a 45. I just need to like not mess up stuff. If that makes sense. Easier said than done, right? Just stop messing up.
None of this would have been possible. Perhaps we've found another sage. Now
Just stop freaking up.
are lost.
God, it's not that hard.
Maya.